Hey Forest Box kids, Miss Katie here. This week we are studying backyard animals such as deer, elk, or caribou, and our drawing today is of a deer. Our only materials are our number 2 pencils and our piece of paper, sketch paper from our sketchbooks. And we're all set. Let's get started. All right, so I just want to give you a quiz. I'm not going to show you the pictures today of the 7 elements of shape. Let's see if you can picture them as I say them. We have line, shape, form, value, space, color, and texture. Now, can you look at our deer and tell me which ones you see? We definitely have line. We have some basic shapes for sure. We do not have a lot of form, which gives the illusion of 3D. We do have value. We definitely have lights and darks. We don't have a lot of space as far as arranging of different things in the picture. We have no color, and we will definitely have some texture. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with our basic shapes, and we're going to start with our central shape, which is this head. If you give it a good look, aside from these little divots sinking inward, it has the shape of an oval. So we're going to go ahead and start with an oval shape. Now, when you draw your oval shape, you want to make sure you have enough room for the chest of this deer and for his antlers, okay? Do not make your oval too big where you won't be able to draw those antlers, which are the most fun part. Okay, now we have an oval. We are going to create this peanut shape by bringing it in and out again, just like that. We're going to bring it in and out again, just like that. And then we will erase these outer edges. And here we have our basic deer head shape. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create something similar to a zucchini, okay? Zucchini shape. We're going to start with a point, and we're going to come out to the left and to the right, almost like we have the top of a diamond, okay? And we're going to stop right there, right where your oval starts curving inward, okay? And then we're going to create a big round base, okay? And we're going to bring them together, just like this, okay? Now, we're going to add a little curve here. The same thing we did with this oval, we're going to do with this zucchini. We are going to bring it in and at the same location where our peanut comes in. We're going to bring it in and then back out again. We're going to bring it in and then back out again. And then we will erase these outer lines that we don't need anymore. All right, we are moving along. Doesn't quite look like a deer yet, but we are getting there. Okay, next we're going to create this nose, which is sitting very low on this zucchini shape. It is like a rectangle, but has curved edges, so it's kind of like our oval, but sitting on its side. So I'm going to start with the top and the bottom, and then I'm just going to create these sides that bring it together, okay? And then the mouth of this deer looks like a frown. In the end, he doesn't look like he's frowning, but that is definitely the line shape we are doing right now, okay? All right, the last thing we have on our deer face are the eyes. So kind of between these two places where our zucchini sticks out and where it all sinks in, you could even draw some lines here to help guide you. Right in the middle, we're going to draw a circle. Okay, and on the other side, at the same height, we're going to draw that circle. Okay, and then we're going to draw a line on top of the circle. It's going to be angling. It's going to go around the eye and come back down, and then below the eye and meet at the tip. And in the end, this whole thing is going to get colored in dark, but we're not going to color it in just yet. So I'm going to start. You could even do 2 dots in a diagonal form above and below the eye. Let me bring this up to you in case you can't see these dots. And then we will just connect them going around the eyeball, okay? So I'm going to go around the eye and to this dot, and around the eye below and to this dot. around this eye to the dot, around this eye to the dot. And we're gonna leave it like that, okay? We will color in a little bit. We are moving forward. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the chest of this deer. Now, the chest of this deer is going to be, it's gonna be like a cone. We're gonna start with a cone, but we're gonna start with the sides of our cone, okay? They're gonna go out into the side, straight lines, okay? And then we're gonna curve downward, just like that, okay? Now, we are gonna create these waves, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have one right in the middle, so we're gonna go up, and when our wave hits, or when it comes down, it's gonna stop at at the edge of the bottom of our cone. So I'm gonna show you. All right, we've got one, we're gonna go up, back down, up, back down to the middle one, okay? And then we'll go up, back down, up, back down, okay? And then we're not gonna erase yet. We'll do the same thing on this center patch of lighter fur, okay? Sides of the cone, and we're gonna make sure this cone dips pretty low so that these waves definitely are distinguished from each other, okay? So we're gonna go up and back down, up and back down. Okay? And if you don't see that it's as symmetrical as you like, go ahead and fix that. We'll go back, something like this, okay? And then go ahead and erase the lines you do not need. The lines of the bottom of that cone. All right, we are moving quite along. And if you can see the lines where you've erased, it's totally okay because we are shading this guy in and they will all get hidden behind our layers of value, okay? So the last thing we have is our horns. Actually, it is not the last thing. I almost skipped our ears. Let's go ahead and do our ears. Our ears are very similar to our eye shape. Now, let me warn you, I might do this time. I'll try not to. If your ears get too big, they really look like cow ears or piglet ears. So feel free to adjust after you draw. But here between our eye and the tip of the zucchini, we're going to start our ear, 2 pieces. Okay, let's go ahead and get those 2 pieces in, the top and the bottom. And then we're going to go down and up, and then up and down. Okay, and I'm going to create a curve, not a point. Okay, and then I'm going to go up and down and down and up. All right, and then inside we have these mini shapes. They're ear shapes, but they do have a point, okay? So we're going to go down and up, and this is very close to our eyeball shape because of the points, okay? All right, finally, we are at the horns. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a heart. Our horns are very much in the heart shape. So however wide you make your heart is how wide you're gonna make your horns. So I'm gonna start with a dot right above this zucchini top, right in the middle, and I'm gonna go out. I want my horns to be really big. And they're gonna land right next to the ear, but not touching it. We want a space between. And this one's gonna go up and around. See how much fun it is to start with shapes? And then once you go on from shapes that you are very familiar with, it's easy to make adjustments. And I will show you how. I'm going to make this heart a little bit bigger on this side, just to make a match. All right, so I am going to erase the center. And let me just decide. I'm going to have my horn, it's going to go this far, okay? This is the tips of my horn, and I'm going to erase the rest of this. Okay? Now I'm going to go from the tip of my horn, I'm going to follow it all the way down to the base, and this is how wide I'm going to have my antler. So I'm going to do a constant line, following it all the way down. Just like that. And then I'll do the same on this side. There we go. All right, so for these smaller horns on the inside, I'm going to start with dots about in the same spot left and right, and I'm going to create, this will be the tip of the horn. I'm going to go curve down like that. And then this one is going to be facing the opposite direction. Okay? And then I'll do the same thing. Maybe these will be a little bit longer because we have so much space now. And I will make these curvier. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly like this one. You can add extras. You can have lots of fun here. They don't have to also look just alike. You can have the left one look different than the right because oftentimes they've beat a tree or they've been butting heads with one another and things fall off and they don't always look exactly symmetrical. So here we go. We're all done with sketching our deer. Great job. I hope you are very happy with it. If you need to make any adjustments, pause the video now and go ahead and make any adjustments that you need to make. Now, going forward, we are going to go ahead and start with our values. As I showed you before, we have a light, medium, and a dark. Let me get him off. He has a high reflective nature with all of this coloring, especially these dark parts are really reflective. So when I go like this, they kind of start looking really light. But you can see here we have a light, a medium, and a dark. So let's go ahead and create our value scale here. We're going to draw a small rectangle. And we're going to draw 2 lines on it to separate it, okay? I'm going to color over the whole thing with a very light coat. Pulling my hand back on the pencil makes it very easy to do that. And that's it. Okay, now in this middle box, I'm going to go over one more time. And I'm going to try to create a middle gray, okay? You should definitely see a change between these two. And then on this one, I'm going to push my pencil quite hard as I can, and make a black, a dark gray. It is not quite black, even though I said that, because as dark as you can get a number 2 pencil is a dark gray. Okay, it is very easy to see that we have 3 values, a light, a medium, and a dark. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with that light color. When you are sketching, it's always easiest to go light to dark, okay? If you go from dark to light, sometimes you might make a mistake with the dark, and it's really hard because it's accidentally over a space that's supposed to be super, super light. So let's go ahead and do those light parts first and separate them. The lightest parts of our deer are the center of this nose and this patch right here. So let's go ahead and pull our hand back on our pencil and run our pencil over these places. Now, you do not need to worry about coloring in the lines here. You want to stay within the outer lines, but don't worry about staying within these lines because everything on the outside is going to be darker. You are not going to be coloring over anything that's not going to be colored anyways. All right, so let's go ahead. Try to create a nice light color here. When you're done, if you would like to do something fun with this light section, go ahead and get a Q-tip and use your Q-tip to rub over your pencil lines and blend them together in a nice smoky blended gray. You can also use toilet paper or paper towel, but you will want to be precise, especially if you're going over any darker sections, because you don't want to blend a darker section onto a lighter section. Okay, I've got my light section in. Next, I'm going to do my middle section, which is every part of this deer, all the rest of it. Now, again, the nose, the eyes, the ears. At the very end, we're going to go over these with our hardest pressure. So we're going to color over them right now, the ears and the eyes, just as if they weren't there right now. Okay, so but we do here, you want to stay within the lines. You do not want to color over onto your light section, and you don't want to color outside your outside lines. So we want to be a little more careful here, but we are pushing a little harder. You definitely want to see a difference between the center of the head in this outer section. Now I like to move my paper around. And the test is, if you look at your value scale that you made, does this medium match this medium? And it does. And then now I'm going to continue on to this bottom section. Now it may look dark, but if you tilt this page, you will see that I am doing a middle gray here. It is not the black gray. This does get a lot lighter in the light. It's really amazing what kind of pictures you can create with only 3 values. It might be a fun thing for you to look at different pictures and say, how can I make them in just a light, a medium, and a dark? You can do so many things. All right. All right, I finished this part at the bottom, and I'm going to move on to my ears. And again, like I said, you are going to color over that center section as if it's not there. And just color in the whole ear in your middle gray. Okay, I have done my ears, all of the face parts that are middle gray. Oh, the only thing left is our darkest gray. All right, this is going to be really fun. Really, all we do now is we push really hard. Let's go ahead and go into this nose, and we're just going to color it in by pushing hard, and I'm using little circles. All right, and then on this mouth, I'm going to just widen the mouth. I'm going to go over it one more time. All right, now let's go to our eyes. We're going to color them, the whole section in that we set apart for our eye. The circle and the pieces on the top and bottom created by the curved lines. Okay, now the center of our ears. I still see those lines underneath my middle gray. One ear. Pausing, I'm going to pause to sharpen my pencil. Please feel free to do the same. All right, next with our antlers, our final piece. Well, one of the final pieces. Okay, so for a lot of my antlers, I like to start at the tips and work toward my body. Okay? And I'm just going to do that for each of the tips, and then I will do the largest one last and work my way all the way backward. Now be careful, we're pushing hard. You want to use very small strokes because it's going to be really easy to accidentally make, if you're using big ones, you make a mistake and it's quite a dark stroke and hard to erase. So be very delicate. Even though we're pushing harder, you do want to use smaller strokes, and you do want to be on purpose. Be purposeful and controlled. And if you want to add at the base here, you can do a little bit of a curve, like the antler is curving from the head, almost like tree trunks do. And that is what antlers do. All right, so on this last one, I'm going to start at the tips. Now you'll notice the harder For the darkest value, my hand has come closest to the tip of the pencil. For the medium, it's a little bit farther back. And for the light, I have my hand the farthest pencil. So the more pressure, the closer you naturally want to hold your hand to the tip of the pencil. And then I'll add a little bit of a curve here at the base. Okay, now the last thing we're gonna do is add some texture. So I want you to see very clearly we have a light, medium, and a dark here. And we're going to now add texture. So with the texture, there are two tricks. The first is we are going to draw lines in the direction of our basic shapes, okay? So the lines, we're gonna use a whole bunch of little lines, okay? A whole bunch of little lines. And I'm gonna draw them here, coming out from the tip. Now we're squeezing them together again. And then now they're gonna come back out towards the sides. And then they're all gonna come wrap down the bottom, okay? I want you to notice how they are going in the direction of the basic shape. And then similarly on the ears, we're gonna just go in the direction of the ear, okay? So that's the first trick. Go in the direction of the basic shape. And here we're gonna have them go as if this nose is the center of, is the sun, and these are the rays. They're gonna come out from the nose and go in the direction of this fur, okay? That's the first trick. The second trick is for the texture to be seen. I want you to see if you can see it here. You need to do it one value darker, okay? So in our light section, the texture is going to be medium. In our medium section, the texture lines are going to be dark, the black color, okay? So we're gonna get started, and the lines, we're gonna do that medium pressure, and we're gonna start here, and we're gonna just come out. They're coming out, and then they're coming back in, and then they're gonna go out again, the direction, and then they're gonna loop around the bottom. And you can see this almost made our light section darker. You can see a very big difference here, okay? So now I'm gonna do the same thing in this middle section. And they're all gonna be almost aiming at the nose and going away from it like sun rays. All right, I finished this section, and now you'll see they are both darker because of the texture I added. Let me give you a close-up. Going in the direction of the basic shape. Okay, so now we're gonna go on this middle gray, and we're gonna add dark lines, okay? In the direction of the basic shape. And I sharpened my pencil. FYI, you might want to sharpen yours if you want these lines to be to have a great impact. And texture is fun, fur is fun, it can be messy. It is not precise, which is really nice. Going in the direction of my basic shape. And now you can see a distinction between these two shades now. Okay, I've darkened this one, so now these look separate, more separate, okay? Now I'm gonna go here and do the same thing. I'm gonna go in the direction. If your hand's getting tired, you can take a break. Go get a snack if your mom says you can. And then I'm gonna go out. Again, all of these are pointing towards that nose. And fur does all go in purposeful directions. Okay, All right, last we have the ears. Going in the direction of the ear. It's fun with texture. You can be rough, and it adds character. So it makes your elk look more alive, less precise, but more real. And after this, you definitely do not want to go in with your Q-tip. Okay, here is my texture close up. And we are all done. Great job, everyone. Go ahead and write your initials on your paper. If you want, from this point on, you can add a background. You can cut out some paper, which is really fun, to make it look like he is peeking through a window, and you can glue that on if you like, but feel free to add to this. But otherwise, you are all done. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.